I married for a good 16 years without having a single child, and whenever I was 3 months pregnant, a group of little strange children would come in my dream and tie my hands and my legs, and they would lay me on the mud and began to hit, kick and sit on my stomach, and when I woke up I would have miscarriage in my family, and my husband's family made my life miserable for not being able to give birth. Deborah and Daniel have been in a relationship since their first year in university. On their graduation day, Daniel proposed and engaged Deborah. Daniel was from a poor background, he struggled and sponsored himself in school, and if not for Deborah, he could have given up and dropped out of school. Deborah contributed immensely to make sure Daniel didn't drop out of school, and she was from an average family. A few months after their graduation, Deborah's uncle secured a good company job for Deborah in the city, but Deborah was not ready to do the work because she desired to do a business. So she gave the job to Daniel because of the love he had for him and the hardship he went through in school. And when Deborah's siblings and parents heard that Deborah has given the company job to her fiancé Daniel, they became very furious, and thenceforward her siblings developed a serious hatred for her. They hated her to the point that none of them attended her traditional marriage and wedding ceremony. And her siblings were all doing amazingly well. A year later, Daniel built a house in a city and relocated his poor family to the new house. He was not stable in the house because of the type of work he was doing. He commonly came back home during the weekend to have time with his wife and his family. A few months after Daniel built the house, Deborah got pregnant, and a few weeks after she got pregnant, a strange girl named Precious, who was 5 years, visited her in her supermarket. "Auntie, please help me. I am very hungry. I have not been eating for 2 days now. Please help me with anything you have," Precious begged. "Hey, little girl, do I resemble your mother?" Deborah asked furiously. "Please, Auntie, help me. Help me, please. I am dying of hunger," she begged. "Where is your mother? She must be very careless for allowing a little girl like you to go around begging for food. I am ashamed of her. Auntie, please, I don't have a mother. My grandma told me that my mom died 3 months after she gave birth to me, and I don't have a father, so I was raised by my poor grandma, and she can't do anything now because she is blind." Precious responded with teary eyes. "So that old blind witch sent you to come and ruin my business, please?" Deborah asked. "Please, Auntie, my grandma is not a witch," she replied. "Leave the shop before I'll hit you with this broom. Small witch. Please, Auntie, help me. Help me, please. I am not a witch, I am a poor orphan," Precious begged. "My friends smell out of my shop, stinky witch." Deborah forcefully pushed the little girl out of her shop, and the poor girl fell and got injured on her knees. "Will you get up from the front of my shop and go back to wherever you came from before I hit you this afternoon?" Deborah commanded. The poor girl found it difficult to get up from the ground, but she managed and got up due to the way Deborah threatened her. On her way, she began to cry. "Oh God, why did you create me to suffer? I don't have a mother. I don't have a father, and my granny, whom I depended on, is now blind. 2 days now I haven't eaten anything and my eyes are turning me badly," she lamented. While she was crying on the road, one man named Gabriel, who was about to rush his pregnant wife to a hospital, came down from his car and stopped her. "Little girl, why are you crying?" Gabriel asked. "Sir, I am very hungry. For 2 days now I haven't eaten and my eyes are turning me," Precious responded. "But where are your parents?" Gabriel asked. "Sir, I don't have parents. I am a poor orphan. I stay with my poor blind grandma," she responded. "I am sorry about that, little girl. I could have loved to help you, but I am in haste to a hospital right now. My wife is about to put to birth, so I am rushing her to the hospital. Take this 5,000 and get food for yourself and your grandma. I will see you some other time," Gabriel replied. "God bless you, sir. Thank you, sir." "Honey, where are you?" Gabriel's wife screamed. "Honey, please, I am coming," Gabriel responded. "Come, oh. Please come and drive me to the hospital. Oh, the baby is coming, the baby is coming," Gabriel's wife murmured. "Little girl, go home because you're too small to walk on this busy express road where vehicles move," Gabriel replied. "Thank you, sir." The poor Precious ran joyfully with the 5,000 to Deborah's shop to buy food items, and Deborah chased the poor girl away. And just as she wanted to cross the express road to another shop to buy the foodstuff, the vehicle that was coming speedily hit her heavily and fell inside the gutter, and before the incident occurred, Gabriel had driven his wife recklessly to the hospital, and there was nobody there to hastily go to the gutter to check whether the poor girl was dead or alive. 20 minutes after the vehicle hit the poor Precious to inside the gutter, a bus driver stopped at the exact place that the vehicle hit Precious for some of the passengers who reached their destination to come down, and while they were giving the bus conductor money, one of the passengers was about to spit on the gutter, and she suddenly saw Precious inside a gutter. She couldn't believe what her eyes saw. She hastily removed her eyes glasses and glanced at Precious inside the gutter. "Oh no, oh! She screamed and carelessly jumped inside the gutter to bring out Precious, and blood was gushing out from her body. Everyone was extremely touched and shocked by what they saw. One of the passengers placed her ears on Precious' chest to see whether her heart was beating or not, but she discovered that Precious' heart was beating very slowly. So they hastily rushed Precious to a nearby hospital for urgent treatment, and it was that same hospital that Gabriel took his wife to. When they got to the emergency ward in the hospital, nurses quickly attended to her before the arrival of a doctor. While the treatment was going on, one of the passengers, who was Gabriel's chef, suddenly remembered that Gabriel, her boss, told her to bring food for his wife who had just given birth in the hospital. So she ran to the ward where Gabriel's wife was staying. "Rose, what kept you so long to bring the food?" Gabriel asked while collecting the food from her. "Please, sir, I am very sorry for the delay. Something terrible happened on my way here," Rose replied. "Rose, what happened that made you starve my wife?" Gabriel responded while trying to feed his wife. "Sir, on my way here, one of the passengers that was inside the same bus with me saw a little girl who had an accident inside a gutter, and we rushed her to the emergency ward here." "Where exactly did that occur?" Gabriel asked curiously. "Sir, is the junction after King's Plaza and Bless Supermarket." A spoon that Gabriel used to feed his wife fell from Gabriel's hand, and something in him told him that it was the little girl to whom he gave 5,000 earlier, but he couldn't believe it. "Rose, how is the girl? Please describe her speedily. I am just desperate to know the girl." "She is a bit fair, and I think she is about 5 years or 6 years old girl." "Did she put on a black dress?" Gabriel asked with teary eyes. "Yes, sir." "Oh no, it can't be that poor orphan. Honey, please, I am coming. Let me go and see that little girl." "Honey, I don't understand. Is that little strange girl more important than me, your wife who just gave birth?" Gabriel's wife asked. "Honey, please, you will not understand. Just give me a moment. I will be back shortly. And Rose, please take care of my wife and the baby." Gabriel rushed out from his wife's ward to the emergency ward to see Precious, and when he got there, he saw Precious lying lifelessly on the bed. "Doctor, please, what happened to her?" Gabriel asked with tears gushing out from his eyes. "She had an accident and all her joints have been affected, and it also affected her brain, so chances are excellent that she will lose her memory." Doctor responded. "Oh, God, but doctor, please, is she breathing well?" "No, oh, she had difficulty breathing, that's why she's on oxygen, but she will be fine. Just thank these people who hastily brought her here, else she could have died in a few minutes." The doctor responded. "Oh, thank God. May God bless you people for saving this poor orphan's life." Gabriel thanked the passengers. "Sir, is she not your daughter?" one of the passengers asked. "Not at all. I met her on the road begging for food, while I was rushing my pregnant wife to this hospital. And she told me she doesn't have parents and the grandmother she is staying with is blind." Gabriel responded with teary eyes. Yeah, I feel so sad for this poor little girl." The passengers murmured. "Doctor, please, any money you need to treat this poor girl, please do not hesitate to let me know," said Gabriel. "Okay, but you will have to make a payment of 150,000. These people who brought her here contributed 100,000 to start the treatment, so there is a remaining 150,000 balance." Doctor responded. "Okay, please send me your details, let me do the transaction." Gabriel replied while bringing out a phone from his pocket. After the transaction was successful, Gabriel said, "Please, doctor, I want to go to my wife's ward now. She just gave birth this morning." "Congratulations, sir. But please, sir, we need someone that will constantly be looking after this girl," said the doctor. "I will look after her. She is like a granddaughter to me, so I can't leave her alone here." One of the passengers volunteered to stay with Precious in the hospital. "I will also stay with her till she is being discharged." The lady who saw Precious inside the gutter volunteered to stay with her also. Thereafter, the doctor said one of them should be staying with her in the morning and while other person in the night, and they both agreed. A few weeks later, they discharged Precious, and fortunately, she didn't lose her memory as the doctor said. Everything was working perfectly in her body. So after she has been discharged, Gabriel took her to his house, and the next morning she insisted on going back home, that her grandma might die of hunger and thinking. Gabriel hastily took her home as she insisted. When they got home, they saw a strange couple who were just trying to feed her grandma, and her grandma was crying bitterly because of Precious. "Grandma, I am back," said Precious. "My daughter, where are you?" "I am here, Grandma." "What? Mama Sarah, I can still recognize you," said Gabriel. "I am blind. I can't see you, and who are you, please? And how did you know my late daughter's name?" Precious's grandma asked while embracing Precious tightly. "Mama Sarah, is me Gabriel, that youth copper that was friending your daughter Sarah 6 years ago." "Copper Gabriel, is that you?" she asked. "Yes, is me." Grandma, do you know him? Precious asked. Yes, I know him. He was the one who... She cried out. Grandma, why are you crying? And what did he do? Precious asked. This man here was the one who impregnated your mother. So he's your biological father. Precious Grandma responded. Mama Sarah, I don't understand what you're talking about. Are you saying Precious here is my daughter? Gabriel asked confusingly. Yes, a few weeks after you finished your youth service and traveled back to your town. I discovered that Sarah was pregnant. She told me you were the one who was responsible for the pregnancy, and she tried your line countless times, but she couldn't reach you. My phone was stolen, and a few months after my youth service I traveled abroad and I just came back last year. I didn't know she was pregnant, but if truly she was pregnant a few weeks after I left the town, then I was the one responsible for the pregnancy because I was the one who disvirgined her. But where is she right now? Gabriel asked. She stammered. Mama Sarah, why are you stammering? Or is she truly dead? Gabriel asked. I don't know whether she's dead or not. 3 months after she gave birth to Precious. One morning I went to a market, and when I returned from the market I heard Precious crying heavily, and I hastily rushed inside to check what happened to her, and when I got inside, Sarah and her belongings were nowhere to be found. I was wondering where she went to without informing me, and when I asked my neighbors they told me that they saw when she ran away from the house with her bag of clothes, and they were thinking I was aware. So since that time I haven't heard from Sarah, and it's almost 6 years since she disappeared.
Mama Sarah responded.
Grandma, is that why you told me my mum died when I was 3 months? Precious asked. Yes, my daughter. But why would she do such a thing? Gabriel asked. I don't know, but I think she did that because of depression, frustration, and lack of money. Mama Sarah, I am taking you people to my house now. No, please, I am not going. Oh, I don't want your wife to go and kill me and my daughter, please. She responded. My wife is not that type of a woman. Please, Mama, follow me to my house. You people need to be taken care of. Gabriel begged. Please, Gabriel, I am very okay here. I don't want any problems, please. As you can see, I am blind. I can't even see you. I know. But Mama, what causes the blindness? Gabriel asked. I was having sight problems, so I went to a hospital for eye surgery. It was that process I became blind completely. She responded. Oh, God, that's too bad. Please, Mama, let's go to my house. Precious and her grandma summoned courage and followed Gabriel to his house. Honey, please, who is that old blind woman? Gabriel's wife asked. She's Precious' grandmother. And what is she doing here with her belongings? Baby, please, let's go inside and talk. Okay, but let it not be what I am thinking, because I will never allow that in this house. When they got to their room, please listen to me attentively. I met that woman 6 years ago when I was doing my NYSC, and her daughter was my favorite friend. After I finished my youth service, I traveled abroad and lost all their access. So when I saw the woman today, she told me that her daughter was pregnant for me and she gave birth to Precious. Gabriel, I hope you and that woman are not trying to ruin my marriage, oh? Gabriel's wife asked. No, oh, babe, why would you think such a thing? But how are you sure that the girl was pregnant for you? She asked. I slept with her before I traveled, and I was the one who disvirgined her. Where is the girl now? She asked. She's nowhere to be found. Her mum said she disappeared 3 months after she gave birth to Precious, and she's the only child the woman had. What? But why do you bring her blind mother here? She asked. Honey, I want her to stay here with us, and I will employ a nanny for her. God forbid. She won't stay under the same roof with me. She responded angrily. But why? She is a very good woman. My spirit detests her, and I don't want her here. She responded. Angel, angel, angel. Remember where I brought you, and remember you don't have anybody, and my family hate me because I got married to you. Please don't make me remember what happened in the past. If truly want peace to reign in this house, allow that woman and my daughter to stay in this house peacefully. Gabriel responded and walked away, and his wife quickly called herself to order. A week later, Gabriel employed a nanny for Precious' grandma and put Precious in a prestigious school. 3 months after Deborah got pregnant, she had a dream, and in that dream, a group of strange children tied her hands and her legs, and they lay her on the mud and began to hit, and some even sat on her stomach, and she screamed and woke up. Honey, what happened to you? Are you okay? Daniel, her husband, asked. I had a terrible nightmare, Deborah replied. What happened? Daniel asked. When she finished telling Daniel the nightmare, she discovered that she had miscarriage. And whenever she was 3 months pregnant, those strange children would come and to Troy the pregnancy in the dream, and because of that she hated people's children with a passion. 6 years after Daniel and Deborah got married, they were not able to have a child, and they went to several hospitals for medical checkups, and the results came out that there were nothing medically wrong with them. A year later, son, it's been 7 years since you got married to Deborah, and she had not been able to give you just one kid. And all your younger sisters have gotten married, and they all have kids, and you, that's their senior, you never have any. Said Daniel's mom. Mummy, I am tired. What do you want me to do? Daniel asked. Son, Deborah must have aborted all the children in her womb, that's why she's not able to be born. Son, this is a high time for you to divorce Deborah and get married to another girl who will be capable of giving you children. Because if you continue to wait for Deborah to give you a child, you will wait forever. Mummy, I can attest that Deborah is not the reason why she is not giving birth. I strongly believe that the child will come at the right time, and I will never divorce her. Daniel responded. Son, I am tired of waiting to carry my grandchildren. Whatever you and your so-called wife want to do concerning these issues on the ground, you people should do it now. I am still alive, and if by next year she doesn't put to birth, she will leave my family, said Daniel's mum. Mummy, calm down, okay? It hasn't gotten to that extent. Mummy, have you suddenly forgotten what Deborah has done for this family? I don't deny what she has done for this family, but I want to carry my grandchildren before I join my ancestors. All your younger sisters have children but remain only you. Daniel, send that demon away and marry another woman before it's too late for you. Mummy, stop calling my wife demon, please. I will never marry another woman. I would rather die without having a child than divorce Deborah and marry another woman. Daniel, that will never happen. Not when I am still alive. She must leave this house to her father's house. Mummy, why did you suddenly develop hatred for Deborah? What has she done to you? I don't hate anybody, all I want is my grandchildren. If she can't give birth, let her go back to her father's house. Mummy, she's not God. She can't force herself to get pregnant. Mummy, allowed Deborah and I to be patiently waiting for the appointed time that God has assigned for us to have children. I won't say anything anymore, but if by this time next year she doesn't give birth, I swear with my late parents' graves she will leave my family, and I will leave no stone unturned until she leaves. Daniel's mum responded and walked away. A few days later, Deborah's business partner secretly took Deborah with sacrificial items to see a very powerful goddess in the river without her husband knowing, and when she got there, the goddess performed some rituals and sacrifices and guaranteed Deborah that she would give birth to twins before that year runs out, and Deborah became extremely happy. A few weeks later, Deborah got pregnant, and a month after she got pregnant, they came two strange, dirty, and stinky children came to her shop to buy something from her, and they were twins, a boy and a girl. Auntie, we want to buy bread and Fanta, said the strange children. Hey, go outside, you kids are smelling, go and buy from another store, I don't sell bread and Fanta here. Auntie, is that not bread I am seeing? One of them asked. I said I am not selling, is it by force? Look at how dirty and stinky you kids are. Only God knows who gave birth to these dirty pigs. Auntie, leave us alone, we're not begging you for anything, we only came here to buy something from you. It's okay if you don't want to sell it to us, but stop cursing us because you don't know what we're going through every day and you cannot survive what we go through every day. Sister, come, let's go, since she doesn't want to sell for us. Please, you people should leave my shop. Go, 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 go. You children are smelling like rotten eggs. Gosh, you children are irritating. Deborah chased them away. While they were about to leave, the strange girl responded to her strangely. Auntie, you're very heartless. We passed many shops just to come and buy from you, but you chased us away. See if you don't turn a new leaf. God will never give you what you've been crying and praying for. After they left, Deborah began to think about what the little girl told her, and when she realized that it was about a child, she hastily rushed out to meet those strange children to apologize to them. But she couldn't find those children, and she asked everybody around the area whether they saw those children, but none of them saw them. After her pregnancy reached 3 months, a group of children came and destroyed it in the dream. Everybody became super disappointed, and when her sister-in-law heard that Deborah had a miscarriage again, they came and threw her out of her husband's house, and heavy rain was falling that day, and Daniel, her husband, was not around. And she couldn't carry her car or her phone because they locked her outside a gate. Deborah went to her father's house. Her parents and her siblings chased her away, so she went and stayed with her friend, and when her husband Daniel came back from a trip and heard what his sisters and his mom did to his wife Deborah, he became very angry with them. Thereafter, he relocated his wife to another city that was unknown to his mom and his sisters and employed someone reliable to manage his wife's business. 15 years after they got married, Deborah was still barren, and Deborah did all kinds of godly and ungodly things and tried all her possible best to have a child. However, she couldn't have, and Daniel, her husband, never gave up on her. He still stood on his decision, and when the circumstances were out of control, she told her husband someday, "Honey, first of all, I want to thank God for giving such an amazing and outstanding man like you to me as a husband. Daniel, thank you for loving me unconditionally. Despite everything we went through, but you never give up on me. You still stand by me. May God bless you mightily for me, said Deborah. You're welcome. My mind and heart will forever trouble if I give up on you and marry another woman. We were destined to be together forever, and so shall it be. Daniel replied, I am very happy and grateful to have you in my life. Daniel, you're the best. You can say that again. Baby, there is something significant I want to discuss with you, said Deborah. Please, I am all ears, go ahead, said Daniel. I am having these feelings that I will not be able to give you a child. Please, I want to pay our house girl handsomely so that you will sleep with her and get her pregnant, and when she gives birth, I will give her my shop and we would sell all our properties and relocate abroad with the baby. Deborah replied, Deborah, I am disappointed in you. Deborah, what came over you? Why would you advise me, your husband, to sleep with our house girl? Are you insane? Daniel asked furiously. Honey, calm down. I am very sorry. Please don't be mad at me. The truth is that I can't help myself any longer. I have tried all the possible things in this world to have a child, but all failed. The circumstances are beyond my control. This is exactly 15 years since we got married, and we don't have a single kid. Deborah murmured. Is okay, I understand, but I will never sleep with our house girl or any girl to get pregnant for me. Deborah, you know what? By next week we're traveling out of this town to another town. I don't understand. What exactly are we traveling to another town to do? Deborah asked. We're going to attend 10 different churches. I believe one of the churches would reveal the mystery behind our childlessness and the solutions, said Daniel. I am fed up with all these churches. We have been to several churches, but none of the churches could solve our problems. Deborah lamented. I know, that's why I said we should travel to another town. Remember, without quality decisions and actions, life and destiny remain stagnant. So get ready, we're traveling on Wednesday next week. Daniel replied and walked away. A few years ago, Gabriel's wife adopted Precious as her daughter and also Precious' grandma as her mom because she didn't have a mother and a father. The woman was super nice and helpful to her, that's why she decided to adopt her. Thereafter, Gabriel took Mama Sarah, Precious' grandma, abroad for eye surgery. Fortunately, she recovered her sight and she was able to see clearly. A week later, Deborah and Daniel traveled to another town to seek solutions to their problems as they planned. A few days later, they went to a church, and after the church closed, they met the pastor in the church. They told him everything they went through, and the pastor prayed for them, and after he finished praying, he said, The circumstances you people are facing are not spiritual, but I don't know the cause of the childlessness. The Lord said that you and your wife should fast for 7 days, and after the fasting, the problems and the solutions shall be revealed. Daniel and Deborah stayed in the church and fasted for 7 days, and on the last day of the fasting, Daniel had a mysterious dream. In that dream, Daniel was playing with little children in the sitting room, and Deborah came out and chased those children away. And when Daniel woke up, he wasn't able to understand the dream. So he went to the pastor and told him about the dream. The pastor held Daniel and Deborah's hand and prayed for them. After the prayers, he had revelations and he said, Madam, you're the reason why you and your husband have been childless for 15 years. You're the cause of everything, madam. Please, man of God, how is she the problem? I know my wife very well. She can never put her hands in any evil things. Daniel asked, Many years ago, when your wife got pregnant for the first time, a poor little girl came and begged her for food, but she chased the poor girl away. And even when the girl came with money to buy something from her, she still chased her away. And when the girl wanted to cross to another shop to buy what she wanted, she had a terrible accident, and it was God who saved the little girl. So for that reason, God withheld giving her a child and kept on testing her whenever she was pregnant by sending unusual children to her shop to see whether she was truly ready to have a child, but she kept on failing the test by chasing the children away. The pastor responded, Man of God, you're right. My wife is always being very harsh to little children, and I kept on asking myself why she always doing that. Man of God, please, what should we do now? Deborah couldn't utter a word. She was busy weeping silently. My brother, the truth is that God doesn't do serious things to unserious people. Your wife is not a serious type, so God cannot do serious things to her. And she's praying and crying badly for God to give her children, whereas other people's children are her enemies. That means she is not ready to have a child. The pastor responded, Please, pastor, I am ready to do anything to have children. Henceforward I vow to take people's children as my own. Please help me, man of God. I have realized my errors that no one has ever told me. Deborah rolled on the ground, held the pastor's trousers, and cried for help. Madam, stand up, go to your town, cook all kinds of food, and buy all kinds of things that you know little children love very well. Organize children's party. When you are done with that, your husband, not you, because everybody knows you as children's hater. So your husband will go into all the houses in People's Street and invite all the children to attend the party, and make sure more than 20 children attend the party. And when they come to the party, give them all the food you cooked for the party and all the items you bought, and make sure all of them collect the food and the gifts. So Daniel and Deborah did exactly as the pastor instructed, and the children came out massively and attended the party. A few days later, Gabriel's wife was about to give birth, so Gabriel rushed her to a hospital and Precious followed them too. By then Precious was 19 years. A few moments later, Gabriel's wife gave birth to a girl, and when her adoptive mother Mama Sarah heard, she ran joyfully to the hospital, and when she reached the hospital she was busy staring at the female doctor who was attending to her adoptive daughter Gabriel's wife. Even when Gabriel and his wife were talking to her, she was still busy staring at the doctor without uttering a word. "Madam, what's going on? You've been staring at me confusingly since you came to this ward. Hope there is no problem," the doctor asked. "You resemble my daughter who disappeared 19 years ago and left her 3-month-old baby."
Mama Sara responded.
"Really? Please, madam, what's your missing daughter's name?" the doctor asked curiously. "Her name is Sarah," she responded. "Please let's go to my office. Nurse, please take care of this lady and the babies." The doctor took Mama Sarah to her office.
Jesus Christ.
"Am I dreaming? Mummy, is me Sarah your daughter? I have been looking for you everywhere in Nigeria, but I couldn't find you. Mummy, you've completely changed. Oh, I couldn't even recognize my mum," said the doctor. "Sarah, you're very wicked and heartless. You betrayed me woefully. I never knew you could completely abandon me and your 3-month-old child. I regretted the day I gave birth to you." Mama Sarah muttered with tearly eyes. "Mummy, I am very sorry for everything. I know I don't deserve to be called your daughter, but please hear me out. I ran away that year out of frustration and depression. I didn't abandon you and my baby. I ran away to hustle so that I would be able to take care of you and my daughter. And when I came back a few years later, the house we used to stay was collapsed, and I asked all our neighbors and relatives where you were. They told me you had been relocated to a city, but they didn't know the name of the city. I searched for you for a good 5 years, but I couldn't find you, so I decided to use the money that I worked to sponsor myself in school. So Mummy, where have you been? And where is Precious? Is she alive or dead?" Dr. Sarah asked. "Well, I thank God for today. After you left me unaware, it wasn't easy for me and the baby. After our house collapsed, God sent us a helper who relocated us to the city, and it was in that city I saw Gabriel. Gabriel and his wife have been the ones who took care of me and Precious."
Mama Sara replied.
"Who is Gabriel, Mummy?" Sarah asked. "Copper Gabriel that got you pregnant." "Okay, Mummy, please, you haven't answered my second question. Is Precious alive or dead?" "Precious was that fair girl who was with you in the ward, and the lady whom you were attending to is the wife of Gabriel, and Gabriel was the man who was sitting close to the lady."
Jesus.
"Mummy, you mean that big girl is my daughter Precious?" "Yes, she is." "Mummy, let's go. I want to see my daughter." Sarah and her mum went to the ward. "Precious, this is your mum. Gabriel, this is Sarah. My daughter, Gabriel's wife. Here is my missing daughter whom I told you about. Sarah, this is Angel, Gabriel's wife, and also my adoptive daughter. She treated me like her biological mum." Sarah embraced her daughter Precious, Gabriel, and Gabriel's wife joyfully. "Gabriel, thank you very much for taking care of my mum and Precious. May God bless you and your family. Thank you, Sister Angel, for taking good care of my mum." Sarah appreciated. Wow. So Sarah, this is truly you. God is awesome. How is your family?" Gabriel asked. "I thank God for my family, we're doing great," Sarah responded. "Sarah, have you married?" Mama Sarah asked. "Yes, Mummy. My husband is the owner of this hospital," Sarah responded. "Sarah, are you saying your husband owns this big hospital?" Gabriel asked confusingly. "Yes." Thereafter, Sarah introduced her mum to her husband and all her husband's family members. A week later, 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, were coming back from school in heavy rain. Those children were drenched and drained, and Deborah was just coming back from work. So when she saw them walking miserably under heavy rain, she stopped her car and went down to meet them. "Little children, why are you people walking under this heavy rain? Where is your mummy or daddy?" Deborah asked. "Auntie, we've been waiting for our mummy to come and pick us up from school, but she didn't come. And we're very hungry, that's why we're trekking home." The senior one responded. Yeah, I think your mom is preoccupied with something very important. My house is the next compound, and you people should follow me home so I can get you something to eat," said Deborah. "No, Auntie, we're not going with you. My mummy and daddy said we should not eat from a stranger. They said, okay, let me take you people to a nearby restaurant." So the children decided to follow her, and she took them to a boutique to change their wet school uniform. Thereafter, she took them to an eatery and bought them their favorite meal, and when they finished, she was about to go and drop them at the area that they told her. On their way, "Auntie, I want to eat a biscuit," one of them said. "Auntie, I am craving for ice cream," the second one said. "Auntie, please, I want to lick sweet." The last one said, "Okay, you people should stay in the car, I am coming." Deborah went down to get them what they requested, and when she came back those children were nowhere to be found and the car was locked. She was super confused. She checked everywhere but she couldn't find them, but she saw their school bags, and when she opened their bags she was shocked by what she saw. She opened the boys' school bag. She saw toys, the baby's diaper, and boys' clothes for a newborn baby. She hastily opened the 2 girls' school bags and she saw the baby's clothes, diapers, teddy bear, and toys. Deborah became extremely scared. She called her husband and told him everything, and she drove fearfully to the house. "Honey, look at what I told you," she said. "This is mysterious. Let me call the pastor and tell him what just happened," said Daniel. After he told the pastor about the strange thing that happened, the pastor congratulated them and told them that God had granted their requests. A week later, Deborah was pregnant, and 3 months after she got pregnant, she had a strange dream. In that dream, those group of strange children who normally came in her dream to beat her whenever she was 3 months pregnant, came and played with her in the dream. 6 months later, she gave birth freely to triplets, 2 girls and a boy. So after her parents heard the surprise news, they went and visited her. After Deborah had been discharged from the hospital, her parents summoned her to reconcile with her siblings. Because her siblings *Ted, since that day she gave the company job that her uncle secured for her to Daniel. That year she gave birth to triplets was a Christmas period, so all her siblings came to spend a holiday with their parents. After their parents reconciled them, "Bro, Gabriel, who is this girl who has been calling you daddy?" Deborah asked. "She's my daughter. Her name is Precious." Gabriel responded, "I don't know this one, but I knew when you had your firstborn who is a boy," said Deborah. Gabriel narrated everything to her. He told her how he accidentally got Precious' mom pregnant during his youth service and how he saw Precious and her grandma. He also told her how Precious was engaged in a terrible accident after being chased away by a lady whom she went to buy food items 16 years ago. "Which area did she engage in the accident?" Deborah asked. Gabriel called the area, and Deborah suddenly remembered what the pastor told her about the poor girl who came to buy something from her that she chased away, and when the girl wanted to cross a road to another shop to buy what she wanted, she had an accident. "I remember a girl like that, but was her grandma blind?" Deborah asked. "Yes, her grandma was blind," Gabriel responded. "Jai! She was the one whom I chased away that day, oh," said Deborah. "Deborah, you mean you were the lady who chased her away simply because she was poor and helpless?" Gabriel asked. "Yes, I was the one. Oh, I suffered the consequences for a good 16 years, and it was because of what I did to her that God withheld giving me a child. Please, Precious, I am very sorry. Forgive me." Deborah cried out for forgiveness. "Auntie Deborah, I have forgiven you. I believe you have learned lessons," said Deborah. "Thank you, Precious, for the forgiveness. I have learned to be nice to everyone irrespective of their class because no one knows tomorrow. Look at Precious, whom I looked down on and chased away yesterday, is now my niece. Life is indeed a mystery." The end. Please let us know if you want us to continue with more interesting and life-touching stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you on our next story.